Hey traders, how are you doing? I hope everybody's okay and is doing well, especially on trading matters. Yes, I'm okay also. So I welcome you back to our sessions and mainly on advanced Elliott wave. Here as usual is Awesome Forex Tanzania. Actually, we are dropping various contents on the cases of forex trading, and mainly we are trading currencies and commodities. So for those who have specialized on those matters, actually I'm sure they are enjoying those contents which are actually provided for free. Anyone can have access to this channel and learn those things for free. But for those who need for paid things, actually they can join for those paid matters. So as usual, we are carrying on with Advanced Elliott Wave course, and actually we are within a series of sessions, and today it is the 6th session actually, and we expected to have about 12 sessions to complete the whole series of Advanced Elliott. So if you have not yet watched the previous sessions, make sure that you go back and watch those things because they are related. One session is related with the previous one. So if you start to watch maybe this for the very first time, make sure that you watch the past 5 sessions which have covered the introductory information. Actually there are total of 6 plus the introductory session. So make sure that you watch those sessions and then you carry on with the coming sessions. Now make sure that before you do anything else, you go to our social media. We have major links or major buttons there. Those buttons, they are active for those who are using computers. Actually you can simply click a specific button and then it will take you directly to the specific area where you want to go. We have this, the first one is a button for broker, then we have a button for our Telegram, then we have this for Facebook, then we have Instagram and Twitter. So all of these are the major areas that usually I recommend everybody to pass through those areas because they are very essential. They link other stuff that we are doing. Actually you can find that we share things like trading setups. So in order to get those free setups, you can join Telegram, Facebook or anything else actually through those links. Now without wasting time, now let's go to whiteboard and then start our today's session. Now mainly it is part 6 of 12. It is part 6 of 12 sessions that have been planned. And our today's concept is on variations in corrective waves. Our today's concept is on variations in corrective waves. Now, taking you back to the past session, that was the 5th session. Now, this was all about the idea that Elliott wave is not a trading strategy. Elliott wave, it was about Elliott wave is not a trading strategy. Now, I want to remind you something. A trading strategy. So now when we were covering this, I tried to give out very basic informations on how you can trade with Elliott wave by incorporating certain rules in order to make it to be a strategy, but by itself it's not a strategy. So if you have not watched the video about the idea of Elliott wave is not a strategy, so make sure that you watch the 5th session in order to be aware on how you can apply profitably Elliott wave concept in the market. So now the major conclusion from this session was understanding corrective waves. The idea was understanding corrective waves will make you able to trade profitably with the wave principle. If you have a greater understanding of various structures or alternative forms of the corrective waves, it will be very easy for you to trade those impulses because you will be aware of maybe when the corrective is going to end or where it's going to end. So understanding those corrective waves, it has been identified to be a very important thing in order to trade profitably with Elliott wave. That's why After this fifth session, I'm taking you directly to the idea of variation in corrective waves, and I expect to have at least 3 sessions about variation in corrective waves. So today we'll cover just partly, we'll not cover all of the concepts on variation in corrective waves. So other sessions, I think other 2 sessions, other 2 coming sessions will also cover the idea of variation in corrective waves, because we have various types of corrective waves, so we'll cover one corrective wave after another. So now, major corrective waves, we have zigzag, and then other corrective waves include things like flats, we have flat, and also we have triangle. Other corrective waves, we have things like triangle, and also we can add this, the issues on combination. Combination also can be a part of corrective waves, but this is very special. It combine maybe all of the 3 or anything else, but combination also can put as a part of corrective waves. So we are going to cover one corrective wave after another. The purpose is to understand the possible variations. If we'll cover the idea on zigzag, actually we'll find on how zigzag may vary, how various forms of zigzag may appear. So most of traders, they understand zigzag is very simple. Actually, it looks like this, but we find that in the market, zigzag may appear in different forms. So we are going to cover what are those forms of zigzag, what are the forms of flats, triangles, and the issues on combinations. Maybe actually we may cover those. So now, today we are going to start with a very simple thing. It's actually, simple. It's like simple, but it has got complexity. Now today, let us start with the issues on zigzag. Today, let us start with the concept of zigzag. Let us cover the issues on zigzag. Now, mainly, a zigzag correction is one among the simplest corrective structure that occurs in the market. Actually, zigzag is a very simple structure among all of the corrective structures that exist in the market, and mainly it has got 3 waves. Actually, it has got 3 waves. Has three waves that actually formed against the major trend. It has got 2 waves against the major trend, and one goes in the direction of the major trend. So it has got 3 waves, whereby its first wave has got 5 internal waves. Its first wave, the first wave of the zigzag has got 5 internal waves, and then the second wave, this was the first. The second wave in zigzag has got 3 internal waves. In most of cases has got 3 internal waves. Now I'm giving you the basics of zigzag. Here are the basics, and then I will come to what we call the possible variations. So in the basics, we understand that zigzag has got 3 waves, has got 3 internal waves in its second wave, and then finally the third wave has got 5 internal waves also. Has got 5 internal waves. So now these are some of the major or the basic informations about the structure of the zigzag, and major informations about the basic structure of zigzag. So now in most of cases, if our trend was upward, if we had an upward trend, it was an uptrend, so we expect that zigzag, a simple zigzag, will be something like A, B, C to the downside. Usually it's like this. It is an A, then B, then finally C to the downside. So I've said that it has got 3 waves. We have the first wave A, the second wave B, the third wave, which is C. Then I've said the first wave has got 5 internal waves. When I'm talking about internal waves, it means the first leg. Actually, for those who know about multiple time frames, if you will switch from the higher time frame to lower time frame, you'll be able to recognize the internal structure of a particular wave. So now, switching to lower time frame, you'll find that the first wave has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It gets completed. Then the second wave has got 3. In a basic theme, the second wave, which is wave B, has got to A, B, C. It has got 3 internal waves, and the final C wave has got 5 also, like the first. So it has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the downside. it can be to the upside or anything else. It depends on the trend at which the market is moving to. So now, having this basic structure, this actually in a very technical way, a zigzag is described as a 5-3-5. Yeah, this is in a very technical way. You can find that a structure of a zigzag, it is presented as a 5-3-5. This is the basic structure. So most of traders actually, they have awareness or they have a knowledge about this basic structure. And now when they enter the market, what they expect is to see this basic structure. In most of cases, they think that they must see this basic structure in order to recognize that this is zigzag. But now I'm giving you one secret. There's one trick to recognize a zigzag. There is one trick to recognize a zigzag, to differentiate it from other forms of corrective waves. So how may you differentiate a zigzag from other forms of corrective wave? You will find that the market maybe was trending in the upside. If the market was trending in the upside, this is the major trend. So if the corrective structure to be formed is zigzag, you will find that a market has started to form 5 waves opposite to the higher degree wave, or opposite to the direction of the major trend. So if you will find that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you will find that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 against the direction of the trend, if 5 waves have been formed against the direction of the major trend, now this indicates that the type of correction that's going to be formed here is zigzag. So it will form the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now those 5 internal waves, these will mark or will denote a completion of the first wave in zigzag, which will be A. Now, after having this, we have seen in a basic theme. In a basic theme, the second wave, now it will have 3 waves. Now it will be A, B, C. Now this will go in the same direction as the direction of the high degree wave, or the direction of the trend. Now this will be something like, now an A, B, then C to the upside. Now this will mark wave B in a higher degree. This will mark wave B in a higher degree. Now usually, yes, I don't remember exactly if I've already taught that thing, but mainly after recognizing that you have 1, 2, 3, or the ABC in the completion of wave B, usually we take trades in wave C. Now what are we going to trade in wave C? Usually in wave C we trade the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the downside. It has got 1, then has got 2, then 3, now we have 4, and finally 5 to the downside. So usually we trade this. And how may we target this? Actually, a target for this wave C, usually we use the idea of equality. Actually, the first wave, that is wave A, and wave C. Now this one is wave C in that higher degree. So now mainly the distance traveled by wave A must be equal to the distance traveled by wave C. That's a simple formula on how you can trade wave C, but the purpose today is not to understand how you can trade this, but I have decided to give you that very valuable content in order for you to apply it in the market. So now let's see the possible variations. Now we have the idea of the basic theme. Remember, A3. Now in a basic theme, it is the 5-3-5. Remember this. This is in a basic theme. But now you'll find that when we come to possible variation, we can have different themes. Now, what are those themes maybe in a highlight? What are the themes, actually those possible variation in a zigzag are actually in a highlight? In a highlight, we can find that major variation in the zigzag, they occur in wave B. Wave B actually. Major variations, or all of the most important, all of the important variation in zigzag, they occur in wave B. Now in a basic theme, we have seen that wave B has got 3 internal waves. So now we'll find that in those possible variations, sometimes wave B may have more than those 3 waves. It can form more than those 3 waves. Now those are what we call the possible variation. Now the first possible variation, as I have said, that major variations, they occur in wave B. So you will find that sometimes wave B, in the basic theme, we have seen that wave B is a zigzag. Now this is very common in a basic theme. Wave B can be zigzag. That is in the basic theme, and we have covered this. Then in the possible variation, one of the possible variation, wave B can be flat. Sometimes that's the first form of variation. Now this is the first form of variation. Wave B can be flat. And also another form of variation, sometimes wave B can have multiple zigzags. Sometimes wave B can have multiple zigzags. Now in a basic theme, has got just a single zigzag, but in possible variation, wave B can have multiple zigzag. Maybe sometimes can be double zigzag or can be triple zigzag. Now those are the possible forms of zigzags. And the last thing is sometimes wave B can be a triangle. That's very common. Sometimes wave B can be a triangle. I'm sure those Elliott practitioners, they are aware with this. Most of them sometimes they have awareness with the issues on having triangle in wave B. But other forms of variations here are having flat, having multiple zigzag. Actually they are less common. They're not so common to everybody. So now all of those things, they appear in wave B. Now they appear in wave B. They appear in wave B. Now let us start to see what if there is a flat. Now what do we expect to see? The structure. Now what structure will we see if there is flat in wave B? All of the variations, they are in wave B. So now, as usual, the market was carrying out, was going up with trend, and now it comes in a correction. Now the market comes to correct this trend. Let's say this was the first wave. So we expect that the market now is going to build the second wave in correction. The market is going to build the second wave in correction. Now the second wave in correction can have any form, can be zigzag, can be flat, can be anything else. Now we're in a form of zigzag. Now let us see. I've said that in order to note that the corrective wave to be formed is zigzag, is when you see 5 wave move against the trend. The 5 wave move is not an end of correction. When you find that we have 5 wave move against the high degree trend, it is not the end of correction, it's just a beginning of correction. So now we'll find that it may start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the downside. Now after having those 5 waves, now I can mark them. Here is 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5. Now as I have said, having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 against the high degree trend or against the major trend, this marks the beginning of correction. So most of traders mess up by taking in consideration that this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's just a completion of correction. Most of traders, they lose when they take into consideration 5 wave move against the high degree is completion of correction. But if you have this idea, you will be ready to trade another wave that will have a same distance travel. You will be getting ready to trade another wave that will take the same structure and the same distance travel. So now let us see wave B. Now we are going to build wave B, and now the first possible variation is when wave B has got a flat. Now let us see when wave B has got a flat. Now we have different forms of flats. It can be regular flats, can be expanding or anything else. So now let's take a very complex form of flat, a running flat. Expanding flat, actually a very confusing structure. Most of traders lose money when the market forms an expanding flat. So now let us take a theme of expanding flat. If there's an expanding flat, a flat actually, it has got the ABC. It has got the ABC. It is a 3-wave move, but its internal structure, its first wave has got 3 waves. I think you know the issues on the flat. I cannot dig deep on those flats, but what we need to see how flat may exist here. So now, if we have an expanding flat, we expect now this flat. Let me put this in black. Now our flat will be A, then we'll have B, finally we'll have C to the top. Now this is a flat. This is a flat in wave B. Actually, this is wave B. So it will have, as usual, A, it will have B, and finally C to the top. So now you will find that this movement, the first one, in order to understand that this is flat, in order to understand that this is flat, you will find that its internal wave in the first wave, wave A, in a flat, it has got 1, 2, 3. So it is different. It is different from wave A. It is different from wave A in a zigzag. Wave A in a zigzag correction, it has got 5 internal waves. But wave A in a flat, it has got 3 waves. Then wave B in a flat, as usual, has got 3. 1, 2, 3 as usual. It has got 1, 2, 3. Now, if you see this, actually it has moved beyond the beginning of wave A. The wave A started there. So now wave B has moved beyond, and this scenario actually has taken place in gold this I think this week. Yes, I think this week, or if it is not this week, maybe it was on Saturday. I think not Saturday, actually on maybe Friday or Wednesday, I think, of the past week. Actually it did something like this, but it was in an uptrend. That was wave B that penetrated beyond everything in its structure. It was to the top, but that wave, it was just a wave B. Then the market came down again. Now this, because this is in an uptrend, something like this, wave C, it is to the top, but in that structure wave C was to the downside. But now let's stop confusing the things. Let's go to the concept here. Now after having this C, now this C, completion of wave C, now because it is, now let's see its internal structure. Usually wave C, internal structure of wave C, it has got 5 internal waves. Now it will have 1, 2, 3, 4, finally 5 to the top. Now it has got 5 internal waves. Now usually flat is something like this: 3, 3, 5, 3, 3, 5, 3, 3, 5. This is all about internal waves. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now for those who don't know those numbers, what do they mean? Because when I was describing a flat, I mean a zigzag, I said that a zigzag is 5, 3, 5. Now, so what we are writing here is numbers of internal waves. Those are the numbers that represent what are the internal, the number of internal waves. Now, after completion of this wave C, completion of wave C, now in a lower degree, it will be completion of wave B in a higher degree. Completion of wave C, it's completion of wave B in a higher degree. Now, if you have yet recognized that we have completed wave B, if you have recognized that now we have completed wave B, now usually we get ready to trade wave C. Usually we get ready to trade wave C. Now, the distance travel in wave C, in most cases, it takes equality. It takes equality with the distance travel in wave A, and actually it has got 5 internal waves. Now, wave C, how will it look like? Now it will be something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the downside. And anywhere around, it may exceed, or it may be within the whole structure of a corrective wave. So in any way, now this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and finally 5. And in most cases, wave C, it gets extended. Now this is wave C. In some cases, actually, you'll find that wave C has has got an extension. It extends maybe sometimes to 1.6. It may extend up to 1.6 of wave A. So it moves to more than half. It is just 1.5 more than it is just 1.5 of wave A. So sometimes it may move to 1.6 or anything else. If you know how to use Fibonacci tool, actually you may apply and understand those things. So now you will find that the appearance, now this one, the appearance, I put boundaries right there. The appearance of wave B, the appearance of wave B, now it is somehow confusing. Appearance of wave B is somehow confusing because in most cases a trader may think that we had A up to this point, this was B, then is C to that point. Now the market is continuing with the trend. Then we find that the market go nowhere and then it comes down again. Now those things actually happen in most of cases in the market. Those movements, they happen in most of cases in the market, and most traders, they don't understand what is going on. But now to understand this complexity, you have to dig deeper to internal waves. Always when you are analyzing the market, in high degrees you may take it simple like the ABC up to this point, but you will find that this C has got 1, 2, 3. But we have an idea that wave C, it must have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this one has got, it is not just a 1, 2, 3. Now this is just an A. Now this is an A, B, C. It has got an ABC. So having an ABC, we cannot label this as wave C. We cannot label this as wave C because it has violated those who call the basic rules of wave C. Wave C must have 5 internal waves. But now we have yet seen one of the possible variation. Now I will try to rush in order to save time. Actually, let me try to rush to save time, but we have already covered the variation when wave B is flat. When wave B is flat, and I have covered the idea of it spanning flat, but sometimes it can be regular flat or anything else. Just you have to incorporate informations from what I have presented. You can add things here. I don't talk everything here because the content actually may go beyond this. The content may go beyond this, but we cannot talk everything in a single session. So now let us see another form of variation, a multiple zigzag. Another form is multiple. We have this, we call it a multiple zigzag. Multiple zigzag, this means that sometimes wave B, all of those things happen in wave B. Now wave B is the most killing structure, the most killing wave B in a zigzag. It has got very different forms of variations, so it is the most killing. So now sometimes wave B may exist in form of multiple zigzag. Multiple zigzag, it means it may be double zigzag. Mainly it can be double zigzag or it can be triple. It can be double zigzag or it can be triple. We have almost two main structures, two main appearance of combination of zigzag. May combine to be 2 or to be 3. Now how the structure will look like if we have multiple zigzag. Now how the structure of correction will look like if we have multiple zigzag. We will have something like this as usual. Now we will have something like this. The market is moving with a trend. After moving with a trend, wave B, a corrective structure starts with wave A, whereby wave A, as usual in zigzag, has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The principle is 5 wave move against the direction of trend. 5 wave move against the direction of trend indicates the beginning of correction. That's the principle. Remember that 5 wave move against the direction of the trend. Against the direction of trend indicates the beginning of correction. Now we have this as wave A. We have this as wave A. Now we expect wave B. Now we expect wave B now, and then we are looking when wave B takes a form of a form of multiple zigzag. When wave B takes a form of multiple zigzag, let's say we have triple zigzag. If wave B has got triple zigzag, we expect it to be something like this: 1, 2, 3. Now this is an ABC, then it breaks. Now we can label them A, B, C, then it breaks. This is the junction. Then it will have A, B, C, then it breaks as usual. A, B, C, then it will have A, B, C, then it breaks. Okay, now this is A, B, then C to the top. Now to complete labeling of this, we will have an ABC. Now in any way, here is something like combinations. So ABC, this can be Y, this can be Y. Oh, now it's W. Now let's start this with W. ABC, this is W. Then X, Y up to this structure. Then X, or sometimes they label it as XX. Sometimes other people label it as XX, or you can label it as an X again. Then it is WXYXZ, then Z. Now WXYXZ. This is multiple zigzag. We have Z somewhere there. Now completion of this Z in a higher degree. This one, actually we had this as A. Now in completion of this Z, actually in a higher degree it will be wave B. In a higher degree it will be wave B. We had A in the beginning, then we have B now, then we are waiting for C. But now what happens is most traders will fail to understand this complexity. If you don't have prior information about the possible variations in zigzag, you'll be just wondering what's taking place there. And actually those corrections, they take too long. They take too long time. And after completion of this, the market moves with a very emotional move. So now what will be that emotional move? And usually we trade that. Emotional move will be in the completion of wave C, which will take a distance travel like wave A, or sometimes can be extended, whereby it will be something like moja, mbili, tatu, nne, tano. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? How together? The moja, mbili, tatu, nne, tano, other people may not understand this. The moja, mbili, tatu, nne, tano. It is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that can take a distance travel equal to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the first leg. This will be in a higher degree wave C. This will be in a higher degree wave C. Now after completion of this wave C, market goes on as usual. It continues with the direction of the major trend. It continues with the direction of the major trend. This one was the major trend. But what I need you to understand is this possible variation here. The possible variation in wave B. The possible variation in wave B. We have seen the most common or the basic thing, which usually most of mentors they teach it, is that a zigzag is an ABC. It is simple like this: an ABC which has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the only thing, and most traders, with all of their confidence, they get into the market in order to find this. So when the market comes up with this, they get confused and they think that, oh, the principle is not applying and other things, but it's just the narrowness of their coverage that don't apply in the market. They cover those concepts in a very narrow version. That's why you can find that those ideas or their ideas may not apply. Now let us see the last possible variation. I want to cover the last possible variation. Now for those traders who have got questions, now there are those traders who ask you questions in the comment section, others they write maybe in DM or anything else. Now if you've got any question, actually you may ask maybe in the comment section or anywhere, and then you will be answered. So now let's cover the final. That's very simple. The last and the final, that's very simple. Now this kind of possible variation is when wave B has got a triangle. It's when wave B has got a triangle. I think people knows triangle, a triangle, a pembe tatu. For those who knows Actually, Swahili actually they know about pembe tatu, a triangle. Just a very beautiful pattern to trade. This is one among of the very beautiful pattern. When I find that, actually I keep the market. When there is triangle, usually I keep the market. But triangle has got its, or it has also its possible variations. We will cover them on triangles. We will cover those possible variations on triangles, because triangle are the corrective waves, so they have their own possible variations. So you can say, triangle is very simple, it has got this and this, but it has got its own possible variations. So we will have a session on triangles. But today, let us take a basic form of triangle that everybody knows. We are taking a basic form that everybody knows, a structure of a triangle that everybody may talk about. Now, in a basic structure, we have a high degree, or the major trend now is moving up. Then a correction starts as usual. Against the high degree, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Against the major trend, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a beginning of correction. We label this as A. It has got 5 internal waves. Now, wave B. Wave B is a triangle. It can take any form of triangle. We have various forms of triangles, including things like a running triangle. That's a very unique structure, a running triangle. But it can be contracting, expanding, descending, or ascending, or anything else. But we have various forms. Now, let's take a form of contracting triangle. Let's take a form of contracting triangle. Assume that wave B has taken a form of contracting triangle. Wave B has taken a form of contracting triangle. Now, triangle is just an A, B, C, D, E, something like that. It's an A, B, C, D, E. That is a triangle, an A, B, C, D, E. But if you are going to the line, you will find that it will form something like this. This is the triangle. This is a triangle. It don't give that exact appearance of contracting thing. Maybe let me do this. Let me repeat this. This is an A, B, C, D, E. Yeah, something like this exactly. Now we'll have this. If you will beline this, it looks very clearly as a triangle now. Now this was A, then this was B, B, C, then D, and finally E. Now usually E marks the end of triangle. E marks the end of triangle. So now we have got an A, B, C, D, E. So someone may put this line up to this beginning, no problem at all. But we may join B and D. B and D, then this join A, C, E. Now this is triangle in wave B. This is triangle in wave B. So completion, now when E is getting completed, it means this will be in completion of wave B in high degree. This will be in a completion of wave B in high degree. So now, what do we expect after this B? After wave B, we expect the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the downside. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the downside. And this will be in a completion of wave C in a high degree. Then after, we expect the continuation of the trend. But what we need to understand here is having this, a triangle in wave B. Having this triangle in wave B. It's just different from what usually we expect. Actually, we know that in wave B, we have 3 waves. We expect to have a zigzag here. Usually, we expect to have zigzag. Most of traders, when they are talking about zigzag, they know about having, when they are talking about zigzag correction, they expect to have a zigzag in wave B all the time. But it is not like that. Sometimes it can be triangle, can be flat, or can be anything else. So now, this is triangle, and this marks the end of the possible variations. The end of the possible variation in zigzag. Zigzag. The end of possible variation in zigzag. So we have other corrective waves. So the coming session will cover things like variation in flats. We'll cover variation in triangle and other stuffs. But flats, they are very complicated. Never miss a session on the flats. Flats, they are very complicated. They have got different possible variations, and most traders lose money when they try to trade flats. So now, why we are going deeper on what we call the corrective waves, we are going deeper on the corrective waves because understanding corrective waves will make you trade profitably the impasse. Because you cannot catch this the first move, but after understanding this, you will look for the formation of correction. You will look for the formation of correction. After understanding the formation of correction, example, the issues on triangle, it doesn't mean all the time you must see those things like this, exactly how it looks like here, but you must have other clues in order to identify the structure, a certain structure. Example, in triangle, you will identify it even though it may not be looking like this, like how it appears here, but you will look on internal waves. When you have 1, 2, 3, that's an ABC, then ABC, then ABC, ABC, ABC. Usually having three wave moves in either directions. This means that this is a triangle. It may occur maybe in an ending diagonal, but mainly let's look at this scenario of triangle. You will find that it has got three wave internal and other things. You will realize that this is triangle. After having the first A, then B, C, D, finally E. Wave E, you will look for the continuation. Actually, I can call this as a continuation because the beginning move was this, then this will be a continuation. And in all cases, anywhere where triangle occurs, actually a triangle is a continuous pattern. A triangle is a continuous pattern. That is in a generalization. It is a continuous pattern. I mean a continuation pattern. So there is minor deviations in wave E. I'll talk the things on possible variation on triangle, but mainly, or no, it is not mainly. In most of cases, wave E usually forms forced breakouts. Wave E usually forms forced breakouts. So now, what are those things? Now, if you have those lines like this, triangle. Now the move was like this. Triangle now has started with the A, B, C, D. Now wave E, in most of cases, it moves past this level. That is the force break. It moves past this level, then it shoots like this. So now most people, they get confused with this force breakout. If you have already recognized that, oh, this is triangle, so don't get confused with this fake out. So you must have awareness of this. But when we will be discussing about triangles, I'll dig deep on the matters about triangle. But for today, I'm just touching a few things there. So now we are through with the sessions. Thank you for your time, but make sure that you subscribe this channel. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button in order to be able to get notified when other sessions are being uploaded. And also, not only sessions, we have various ideas, things like trader talk, we have maybe weekly market analysis and other stuff. So when you have subscribed, you'll be able to get those updates. But also, if not here, you may follow other social media there, areas where we share those information, so you can follow them through those buttons right at the top. And mainly for those who are using computers, they are able to have a direct connection through those buttons. If you don't use computer, you are using a phone, please, those links are available at the video descriptions. Look at the video descriptions, you will find the links to our social media. Thank you for your time and have a nice day.